Thanks for stopping by. I'm pretty sure this is a Eucalyptus Dalrai Empliana, and it started flowering perhaps 2-3 weeks ago. And the noticeable thing is this year it's just covered in flowers. Quite a few of them have passed on, as it were, past their best. Though there are plenty more. Hopefully that's coming out with this sun. It's just covered in them this year. Just fantastic. And as you can see, there are lots more flower buds ready to open or in the process of developing. If you plant a wide range of eucalyptus varieties, as I have here, then you'll get a very long flowering period. So if you are keeping bees, then there'll be food around for them more or less all year. This is Eucalyptus subcrenulata, also known as Tasmanian yellow gum, and it's a very hardy, tough, wind resilient. Look at that, there's a pollinator on one of the flowers here. Fantastic, love seeing that. Anyway, this started flowering about 8 weeks ago, and it's still flowering. And it's got lots more buds opening. Just this past week or so, since the weather, we had a little bit more sunshine and warmth, and it's just covered in flowers now. This Eucalyptus nitens started flowering last year at around age 3-4 years old. Very pleased this year to see these nitens behind me starting to flower. They're around the same age, 5 years old now, in 2019. Not a long flowering period, perhaps only 3 weeks, though my feeling is with a warmer, hotter, sunnier summer, the flowering period would have been much longer. Nitens aren't a very hardy variety, perhaps down to -10 for short periods. Perenniana, on the other hand, are a very tough, resilient variety. These will be happy, I'd say, down to -15 and below for extended periods. And their flowering period lasted from the beginning of May to the end of July, so 3 months more or less. They're around 4 years old, so definitely here in Ireland or any colder climate, temperate climate, definitely Perenniana would be on my list of varieties to plant if you're a beekeeper. Perenniana are also stunningly beautiful, one of my favourites, and I can see in the canopy here there are lots of flower buds developing, so looking forward to an abundance of flowers and food for pollinators next year. Let's see if I can find some of this year's capsules, flower buds. And here we are here. I just get in there. Okay, there we are. Fantastic. So hopefully I'll get some seed from these this year. Eucalyptus pulverulenta, scraggly gum. These started flowering after only 18 months in the ground. So if you're a beekeeper and want to get off to a flying start with your eucalyptus, then this would be my absolute recommendation. Scraggly gum, they do get a bit scraggly. I pruned them back in the middle of last year, so I didn't get any flowers this year. However, they are absolutely covered in flower buds, which they were that first year as well. Those of you who watch my channel regularly will be getting fed up with seeing the insect of the bee feasting on the flowers, the first flowers that I got from this scraggly gum. Though I never tire of seeing it myself, just fabulous, love it to bits. Eucalyptus parvula, another very hardy variety, and these are just covered in flower buds, just incredible. Much more than last year, and fingers crossed these start to flower in perhaps 4 to 6 weeks. That would be fantastic. That would mean that I've seen flowers on eucalyptus from mid-February to November. So as I say, more or less all year round. And parvula are incredibly wind resilient as well, which is definitely an advantage here on the west coast of Ireland. Eucalyptus gunnii, a northern hemisphere favourite, very tough and hardy, and these must have flowered earlier this year because there are seed capsules on several of them. I hadn't realised just how many seed capsules there are. Very pleasing. It'd be nice to get my own gunnii seed. Fantastic. And gunnii are one of my coppice varieties. I still want to grow all my own firewood, and this one was growing out of the grove here, looking for light and becoming a bit scruffy, so I chopped it back. That must have been around 6 weeks ago. So as you can see, lots of fabulous new growth. So definitely a variety that you can coppice. A caution with coppicing any eucalyptus is you must do it during the full growing season. Eucalyptus grow all year round, however they're going to be more vigorous during the summer months. Around the same time I cut back this viminalis, and as you can see, another fabulous coppice variety. Kind of went off viminalis for a while, but I'm now very much in favour of them. This one was scraping up against its next door neighbour. They were planted, they're probably two different trees, though they're the first trees that I planted, and I was led to believe that you couldn't separate the roots on seedlings, so I just plonked them in the same pot. So quite a few of the viminalis look as though they've got multiple shoots, but they're actually different trees from the same pot. Viminalis were in the first batch that I planted here in Clonsnochta in 2018, around February, March 2018, and this one behind me was the first to flower about 3 years later. I can't see any flowers or flower buds on it this year, although it's very healthy despite the best efforts of the eucalyptus leaf-eating beetle, which are all these bite marks that you can see on the edges of the leaves. It really is flourishing. All trees become hardier with age, and definitely these Eucalyptus viminalis are coming of age. So as I say, I'm going back to becoming a fan of this particular variety here in Ireland. If you buy a jar of eucalyptus honey from a supermarket, then it's very likely it's going to have come from Eucalyptus globulus, the most planted eucalyptus in the world. They're not particularly hardy, I'd say around -5 for short periods, perhaps slightly more. I've planted a lot more of them. I'm very keen on Eucalyptus globulus. Unlike nitens, they can be coppiced for firewood, and as I say, that's still one of my objectives. But I'm also becoming increasingly interested in beekeeping. So, as I say, I'm planting a lot more of them. There are about 20, just short of 20 different varieties of eucalyptus growing here at Clonsnochta now, and perhaps half a dozen have flowered so far, so I'm really looking forward to the next few years when they all start flowering. That really will be spectacular. Behind me, Camphora, and these are Ovata. If you do have any comments, I'd love to hear them. Thanks a mil for watching. Good luck.